I didn't like venomously attack him, but I kind of
like
went along with it.
That was how you first met him.
Yes, and then I, read his stuff, and I was like, I mean, the romance is cute. I mean, I was like, the romance is cute, but I'm not really,
into it.
Pro gay.
At least you weren't back then.
Yeah, wasn't back then. Honestly, what it took was he was like, okay, I understand, that's okay. You can thank you for reading my. And then the more I read, the more I got into it, and I was like, this is against my religion, isn't it? So then I started researching the Catholic view on gay.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the official Catholic view straight from the mouth of a Catholic. LGBTQ, not a sin. It's okay. That's how God made you. But you can't get married in the Catholic sense, because marriage in the Catholic definition is
straight.
The union of a man and a woman in order to, as God has created us to do, procreate and have kids.
Right, but that's only the Catholic way of marriage, right?
Well, because that's our view, we shouldn't believe in gay marriage. But I do, because of my friendship with Austin.
Right, but that's only like Catholic, like okay, because Austin clearly isn't Catholic, so that way it wouldn't stop him.
No, but his religion is even harsher.
I don't know
from
what
religion
he is.
Neither do I, but it's a Christian denomination that is completely anti-LGBTQ. He's actually been excommunicated from his church, from what he's told me.
That sounds like Mormon, from what Cicely's told me.
Or at least that's what his RPs say. I don't,
Okay.
I don't ask him about his personal life like that.
We probably shouldn't. Anything he wants to keep secret, it should keep secret.
Yeah. Anyway.
But you said that Austin was responsible for you and Jeanette.
Yeah. Okay. The story of that. So he was writing this story called Legacy of Time,
mm-hmm.
which you probably read.
I have.
You have. So in that story, it's Austin is chosen to bring the chipmunks back to from obscurity.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like Alvin's successor, and Simon comes to help him, and then he chooses me to be the Theodore, like to basically play Theodore in an upcoming live action Chipmunks TV show.
Ooh.
So he's like Annabeth doesn't exist in this world, so can I pair you with Jeanette? And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. And
sparks.
Yeah, the second. Okay, this is literally what he wrote. It's kind of weak, but so this is what he wrote. It was like Noah had noticed Jeanette sitting all by herself, and he walked over to her. Hey, are you okay? And she says, yes, I'm fine. I'm just worried about Alvin and Simon. They've been gone for a while. I should check on them. No, please don't leave me. It's just I'm sure they're okay. I just worry. And then we get into a discussion that eventually leads to, nobody would ever date me. I would, Noah replied. Jeanette blushed and covered her mouth. You would? And he says, well, yeah, why wouldn't I? You're smart. You're beautiful. In fact, would you like to be my girlfriend? Yeah, that's where it started, and then...
It's still going.
Yep.
That is so cool.
And then when he started doing the polyamorous thing, I was against it at first. Because polyamory is kind of against both my religion and the concept of marriage itself.
True.
So I wasn't okay with it at first.
I had to learn that the hard way.
I was okay with it at first, but I was not okay, and then I warmed up to it.
This is actually kind of weird, because I don't think I've ever told you this story about how I didn't know about fanfiction.net until you and Austin told me about it. Actually, no, hang on. Cicely told me about it, because I remember finding a story and sending it to her, and this was before I met you. But I actually ended up on DeviantArt first, and when I started, I posted 2 things, went away for 2 years, came back and figured, might as well draw something. Then I got into an art kick, like art was my cocaine, and everything, like not everything, but most of what I drew was chipmunk oriented. You go through my journal, like the start of it, like you'll see like a few things, and then it's just all chipmunks. And a lot of it was like parodying movies I've seen. Like I put the chipmunks in like the Batman movies or whatever, and after a while, I didn't get any comments or favorites and anything. I didn't care. I just wanted to draw stuff and just put it out there. And I remember, like, I started drawing other stuff and I started getting way better at my art. I started drawing superheroes. And, like, right around the time Iron Man 3 came out, I started drawing Iron Man. I started drawing Thor, Hulk, everything, Spider-Man. And it wasn't until after Age of Ultron that actually, this might have been before Age of Ultron. I don't remember. But I actually started considering, like, making, like, actual stories. Because I wrote stuff, but they weren't any good and they weren't solid. But I actually started thinking, like, multi-chapter stories that actually had, like, a flowing, plot. And I thought,
Yeah.
okay, but I wasn't really good at making my own original stuff. The only thing I really had was Mr. Green. And I didn't even make that up. I helped make it with Andy. And so, like, I made up this bullcrap story about how, because, Alvin's kind of like a rambunctious one. He always gets in trouble, all that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I made up a story about, like, Dave, like, kind of goes a little too far, like, yelling at him or whatever. I don't even remember how the story went down. I might have deleted it, but in the next chapter, Alvin completely flips his lid. Or not flips his lid, flips his personality. He's completely the opposite of what you know as Alvin. He completely acts different. He's completely polite. He's not dirty. He's essentially not Alvin.
Mm-hmm.
And at first it seems nice, but Simon and Theodore kind of missed the Alvin that they knew that to be their brother.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like, trying to bring back the old Alvin through stuff he liked to do, like pranking people, playing guitar, all that kind of stuff. And it eventually worked. That was, in all honesty, that was my first and completed Chipmunk story, but I don't usually talk about it with people because I'm not really proud of it.
Yeah, I'm not proud of half the stuff that was on. I'm not okay. I'm not proud of anything that's on fanfiction.net because it's really cluttery and crappy. Because I didn't know how to properly, like, indent and paragraph and stuff when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it was Austin that helped me write the way I do today.
Mm.
So I'm not proud of anything on fanfiction.net, and I'm not proud of half the stuff I wrote on Tales No. 1 because that was Annabeth, my strict canon couple shipping days.
Did I ever tell you what the first thing of yours that I read was?
What was it?
Trump gets trumped. I laughed my ass off.
Oh, jeez.
But I remember...
I'm so glad that channel got deleted now. Now Trump can't blackmail me with that crap.
Yeah, good. I remember what was weird was when I came back after the 2-year break of DeviantArt and I started drawing a bunch of stuff, I started looking up a bunch of Chipmunk artwork. And I found a story. I don't remember what it was called. I barely remember what it was about. But I wrote to the author. I kind of left like an over-exaggerated comment that was like, you need a literary Oscar or something. And then, they replied, wow, that's really nice. And I said, I said it as if it was like a myth or like something brought down from the heavens. I'm like, how did you write this? Like thinking like it was like perfect, you know what I mean? Because I was a kid. And she said, very literally, on my boyfriend's Kindle. And you wouldn't believe it, but you know who that person was?
Cicely?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And then, that was the end of that conversation. Years later, I find a drawing she did of, I believe it was Simon. No, it was Jeanette. And I wrote, oh my gosh, this is really good. I like this. And then it inspired me to draw something similar. It was Jeanette, forgive me, I don't know why I did it, but it was Jeanette crying and Simon comforting her and all that.
Oh, yeah, I know that picture. I know your version, and I think I've seen Cicely's version.
Did she draw that?
No. Wait, no, it wasn't her. It was Kickster Ash, I think. Or no, one of the other famous Chipmunk artists that on DeviantArt.
Bored Stupid?
Maybe. I think, yeah, it was Bored Stupid, and they had two versions. There was the 80s version, and then there was the CGI version.
But I drew that, and then she responded to it, and then I started, writing things, because she showed me fanfiction.net, and I started reading all those stories. I'm like, hey, I want to write stuff like this. And I wrote the first one, which was about that hula competition.